Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no. I have been around a really long time, but I have honestly never seen a franchise have such a profound impact and change so many people's perspective on life the way Descendants and Zombies has done. For me, I was a radio show host for over 25 years, both on the radio and on YouTube, and I have never seen this big of a response for any of the videos that I have provided commentaries on over the last 25 years. Hello once again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Jonathan Clarke, your voice of Descendants and Zombies, and I have never felt more honored to be in your presence once again on this beautiful Sunday morning to discuss all things Descendants and Zombies. And I will be here all throughout today talking about Descendants and Zombies once again for the fans who have forever remained loyal to the product. And loyal truly is the best way to describe the fans of Descendants and Zombies, because it's been 10 years since Descendants and Zombies came into all of our lives and changed many of our lives for the better. Because we're the best of friends with people. We are kinder to people. We feel more inspired because of the franchises and the lessons that it taught us. And we have never let go of what Descendants and Zombies has meant to each and every one of our hearts. Which is why we will continue to be incredibly supportive and the biggest fans of Descendants and Zombies in this galaxy. Because the universe never seems to be big enough. But even with how this universe never seems to be big enough, I know there is a girl, probably between the ages of 7 and 13 years old, who wants to watch the best Descendants videos that she can watch on YouTube. Unfortunately for her, she can't find those videos because nobody's uploading them. And if they are uploading them, most of them are AI, which pretty much is a bunch of nonsense, promising you a bunch of lies and misleading you with information about Descendants and Zombies. I have noticed some of the top trends on YouTube recently have been Descendants 5 with Wonderland's release date. Although we don't have an official confirmation on when this release date is going to happen, one could speculate it will happen between June and July of 2026, and that is the best that I can do for you, because I'm just like you. I'm a fan of Descendants and Zombies. I am far from a critic, because I have never believed in criticizing franchises that people grew up with and the characters they know and that they fell in love with, because I know what it's like to fall in love with a character. Many years ago, I was a big fan of Sailor Moon, and I know that's really uncharacteristic for a guy to say on his radio show and on his YouTube show in front of his microphone, but I was a big fan of Sailor Moon because of her personality. I too was a huge fan of SpongeBob SquarePants, perhaps like many of you, because of how resilient SpongeBob SquarePants was. I watched every episode of Bluey because Bluey was so kind. And my favorite Descendants character of all time perhaps became Bridget, because she was so gentle and so kind and really changed my perspective on life and my existence. Because of Bridget, I wanted to be more kinder to people, and I believe there were never enough kind people seen in this world. Regardless of who we are, there is a reason why we are a fan of Descendants and Zombies, and we have been brought that much closer together. And I have never felt more honored to help you make sense of these franchises, when people pretty much are misleading you on their videos, promising you release dates that never are fallen through with, promising you videos that will be uploaded that you never see. I get that, and I know what it's like to be a fan of Descendants and Zombies, because I fell in love with these franchises because of each and every one of you. I remember the first initial promo that was released about Descendants back in 2015, featuring Dove Cameron, Sophia Carson, and Boo Boo Stewart, and they were comparing their characters to the original Disney villains like Maleficent, Jafar, and Ursula, and I thought this was going to be something special. Just how special it was going to be, I really didn't know, because Disney had come out with a lot of inadequate franchises over the years that kind of just faded off into obscurity, or they will be turned into live-action remakes many years later like Kim Possible. It seemed like Disney could not come out with a franchise that could captivate millions of people since the era of High School Musical Wizards and Hannah Montana, and I think Disney's been waiting on an opportunity to really run with and really captivate millions of hearts until Descendants showed up from out of nowhere. That same night, Bunk premiered, so it was kind of a double hit or miss for Cameron Boyce. Not only did he have Descendants, but he also had Bunk to fall back on, working with Peyton List and the original cast members of Jessie. So there was a lot of pressure riding on the shoulders of Cameron Boyce, but he came through. And he came off as such a huge inspiration for a lot of people, because I remember how it went. I believe Bunk's premiere was first, and then it was followed by Descendants. And then a few hours after, literally about 2 or 3 hours after the premiere of Descendants, people took to Rotten Tomatoes and TMZ.com and were uploading reviews of criticism without even giving it a chance. It was almost as if people didn't want to give it a chance. I will never forget that night. So I immediately went on my YouTube channel at the time with no fan base, nobody barely watching me, nobody knowing who I was, and said, "Hey everyone, I'm Jonathan Clarke. I'm a fan of Descendants and Zombies, and I was uploading nowhere near the amount of videos that I'm uploading now. And 10 years after the premiere of Descendants, this YouTube channel was something that started as a whisper and became such a huge sensation and touched the hearts of millions of people because of you guys receiving it and how you responded to it. Every single day now there is somebody subscribing to this YouTube channel at least once. I put up over 25 subscribers every day to a time on this YouTube channel because it just goes to show how passionate you guys are about your favorite characters and your favorite moments that made you fans of Descendants and Zombies, because everybody has a purpose in life and everybody has a reason for being a fan of whatever they're a fan of. You know, I think it's really cool how you girls collect the Descendants dolls, either the 10th anniversary Descendants dolls or just the original Descendants dolls, and how you YouTube the unboxing of the dolls, because you not only want to see the unboxing of the dolls, but you want to see the stars' reactions like Bridget, Leah, Monty, Clarke and Sherelle, who are so inspired by their own dolls and them having become dolls and action figures. For those of you who don't know, that when you finally get to a point where you're turned into an action figure or a doll, it means that you've reached a point of solidification, and that for sure you know at that moment your legacy will go down in history for being one of the greatest of all time. You become immortalized, and I've seen some of the greatest of all time have this happen for them. But did I ever think it would happen for Clarke and Sherelle and Malia Baker? Sure I did, but I didn't think it would happen as soon as this. Not only did the Descendants characters had dolls and action figures, but so too did the Zombies franchise. And I remember how captivated Freya Skye was when the unveiling of her doll happened for her, and how emotionally overcome she was. It seems like Freya Skye is one of the most appreciative stars that Disney has right now, who could always be in that conversation of who is going to be the next Disney pop star. And there are so many people that you could include in that conversation. Perhaps even Clarke and Sherelle, Ruby Rose Turner, your favorite Descendants stars, could be included in that same conversation. But I really do believe, hands down, this is an opportunity that Freya Skye's been waiting on, that she's wanted for forever. And I know the girl is only 16 years old. She turned 16 back on October 17th. She still has a long way to go, but I think the more love and support that we show for Freya Skye, the further she's going to go. And to be honest with each and every one of you, I'm just excited to be a part of Freya's future. She has this tour coming up. Tickets went on sale back on October 30th, I do believe, at 10 a.m. Local time, and people are wanting to get these tickets. It's almost as if they're a hot commodity because they know how big of a star she's going to be. You know, I said this about the Worlds Collide Tour. It was just going to open up more doors of opportunity for Kylie, Malia, and of course Freya Skye. And I really do believe that there are going to be more opportunities that we are going to discuss leading up to the premiere of Descendants by Book of Wonderland. It's just a matter of how this will happen for them and how the critics are going to respond. Because for sure, there are going to be critics in the crowd for Freya's concert dates. They are up on freyaskye.com. Tickets are currently available. They went on sale as of October 30th once again for you guys. And I just want to put it out there that for those of you who were shut out of the Worlds Collide Tour, if you don't get a ticket for Freya Skye's World Tour, I want to put it out there that Leg 2 of the Worlds Collide Tour, I believe, will happen, because it's just a rumor right now. And again, we don't have any confirmation, nor do we have a confirmation date for the release of Zombies 5. People have suggested 2026, some people have suggested 2027, and some have gone as far as suggest 2028. I just want to put it out there that regardless of how long it takes them to drop Zombies 5 and Descendants 5 Book of Wonderland, however long it takes to happen, you guys will forever and always have me, regardless of who is a part of this franchise, who comes into the franchise, who sees their exits. You will forever and always have me as your voice of Descendants and Zombies. I will never leave. I will never go anywhere, because Descendants and Zombies fans brought me back. This niche brought me back and gave me a second chance to be heard and to be seen. Because 20 years ago it was very difficult to fall into a niche that was incredibly supportive of your vision for the franchises that you were talking about at the time, the characters and the moments that made you a fan of Descendants and Zombies. Descendants and Zombies really made me find a purpose and really allowed me to put my life into perspective. You know, did I really want to go on and achieve something more, or could I go to the distance and be your voice of Descendants and Zombies and upload more videos than perhaps any other YouTube creator had ever uploaded about Descendants and Zombies? And I have seen these Descendants and Zombies YouTube channels. I get it. I get how you guys feel. Because there are probably 25 videos on one particular YouTube channel with over 50,000 views, but where are the follow-up videos that they were promising you for forever? You never ever see these videos because most of the videos are AI, and they're leading you down a path of false promises and hope. I've never ever wanted to do that for you guys. There are specific channels called Descendants 5 or Descendants 5 Book of Wonderland that are promising you that this is going to happen or that is going to happen. So much so that even critics and journalists have been led to believe things that they are questioning the stars of zombies. I just recently saw a red carpet interview with Freya Sky from whatever premiere she was a part of. I believe it was Halloween Fest, the premiere of 2025's Halloween Fest, and she was questioned if in fact we would see mermaids in the Zombies franchise. And you know something? I really don't know if Freya Sky even knows if there are going to be mermaids. I know she said in the interview she wasn't allowed to say. Perhaps she does know. We really don't know. But that's what makes it exciting to be a fan of these franchises, is that we don't know what is going to happen. Because if we did know what was going to happen, I think the buzz would die, the anticipation would not be there at an all-time high, and I think that, going into a franchise and the premiere of a new chapter, I think the more that we don't know about it, the more excited we're going to be about it, and the more conversation will be at an all-time high. Even if a photo was leaked about a set prop or something special that was going to be happening in either Descendants or Zombies, I would go for that. If I was the writer and director behind this, I would go for that because it creates conversation. I mean, who really cares if one photo is leaked to the cast and a set prop being leaked in the back? I think that if that happens, that's exactly what Disney wants, because if they release a franchise and nobody is talking about it, then they have to go above and beyond to get people to talk about it with social media posts, and they will be wishing that more photos would have been leaked, more rumors would have began, more rumors would have continued to arise from out of the abyss, because it's a very dark kind of situation when you kind of don't know what's going to happen next. We don't even know if Zombies 5 is going to happen. But I think with 100% conversation happening about this, I think that I can get away with saying that I really do believe Zombies 5 will happen. I just don't know how and when Zombies 5 is going to happen. How I know Zombies 5 is going to happen, why do you think they brought in all these characters that we've never seen before, that we've never seen a story played out for? I think that this presents an opportunity for a new story to be created. I think this presents a new opportunity for us to get new characters that are going to carry on the legacy and the lineage of the franchises. And I think that this is an exciting time for everybody to be a fan of Descendants and Zombies. Because if you aren't a fan of Descendants and Zombies, I think it's time that you discover the power that has forever and always existed with these franchises. Because I can never remember a franchise, forgive me, that inspired millions of people the way that Descendants did. While it will forever be argued that a franchise like Hannah Montana came from out of nowhere on March 24th, 2006 and captivated millions of people, the only reason why it captivated millions of people, or so they say, was because of the music. And the more I think about it, did Hannah Montana have a compelling story that made you want to watch the next episode? The only thing that made you want to watch the next episode was because you were a fan of her music. You weren't a fan of the story between Lily Truscott and Molly Stewart. You weren't a fan of the friendship between Emily Osment and Miley Cyrus because the friendship never existed. But you're a fan of this because the friendships are real. The friendships feel that much closer to you than anything Disney has ever distributed, because what Disney does is, after a board meeting between perhaps 500 people, they take the ideas and they present it to you in a concept they have premiered, and they just wait to see how people are going to respond to it. And if the response is huge, Disney keeps running with it. And I think Disney's really been waiting on this opportunity for what must feel like forever for a lot of people. I think I've been waiting on an opportunity to talk about something that captivated thousands of people. Little did I know that it would be videos about Descendants and Zombies that I would be uploading for over 10 years. 10 years ago, if you were to tell me that I'd be sitting here recording videos about Descendants and Zombies every day for the rest of my life, I don't know if I'd ever believe it. But I'm here because of Descendants and Zombies. I'm here because you guys have forever and always remained loyal to a product that you love, that you know the characters because of, that you can identify with, that you feel a part of. Because really, did you feel a part of High School Musical? If you felt a part of High School Musical, it was probably because you had one favorite character, and there weren't many characters that you could be a fan of that was your favorite character. Troy Bolton, Gabriela Montez, Sharpay Evans, which were played by Vanessa Hudgens, Ashley Tisdale, and Zac Efron. And of course the story revolved around how Ashley Tisdale always wanted to get her man, wanted to get Zac Efron and end up with him for the rest of her life. And of course Vanessa Hudgens posed the greatest threat ever. But off the set of High School Musical, this was the first franchise that actually had real-life friendships coming to the forefront, and that's why the chemistry was at an all-time high, and why High School Musical wanted to achieve so much severity and was one of the greatest stories that Disney had ever told. Before that, I don't think Hannah Montana ever got to that point, because it was halfway through the production of the series and the movie that Emily Osment and Miley Cyrus actually tried to become friends. I remember reading the book Miles to Go, Miley Cyrus's first autobiography, where she talked about her life and the challenges she was faced with, and one of the greatest challenges was her having to make friends, because she just couldn't. It was more difficult than Miley ever admitted to. And Disney did a great job. The reason why this worked was because Disney did a great job kayfabing actually what was, and nobody ever knew what went on behind the camera. We had heard rumors about how they never got along, although we never received confirmation of them never getting along until it became more apparent when Miley spoke out about it in her book. About 150 pages into that book, I remember reading it, and I remember being stunned. I'd heard all the rumors, but I was floored over actually what was, because there was a lot of pressure on the shoulders of the other cast members, because everything seemed to be about Miley Cyrus, or at least that's how they felt about it. At least 10 years from now, in 2025, actual friendships are happening because of Descendants and Zombies. And I really do think that one of the most beautiful friendships of all time that have happened in Descendants and Zombies history is the friendship between Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker, which is why I can talk about it for hours. I think that if you can't talk about it for hours, it's because you don't have the appreciation in your heart for this beautiful friendship, how they've been there for each other in every single moment of their lives, how they've supported each other through brutal breakups, misunderstandings from critics. It is truly incredible how this franchise has went on to touch the hearts of so many wonderful people, and it gives me great honor to upload videos about how I feel about Descendants and Zombies, because as I said here earlier, I'm just a fan like each and every one of you, and I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know what's inside of that vortex. I don't know what the next chapter of Red and Chloe's friendship is going to detail. Obviously, it's going to receive some conflict. It's going to be tested, and because it's going to be tested, that's what's called confliction, and that's something that I'm really excited about, because in the first movie of the franchise, we didn't see their friendship become tested. We just saw them get along, help each other out of every situation, and deal with the consequences of traveling back in time. Now, the consequences of time travel and altering the fabric of time will be more apparent than ever before, which is something I'm really excited about. I'm really excited to find out what's going to happen next, because I am one of these guys that really believe that this story is far from over, and so should you believe this story is far from over, because choosing to believe what the critics are uploading in YouTube videos and wanting us to believe is really just jumping to what I like to refer to as a formidable conclusion. And any conclusion to jump to is never a good conclusion. Any theory that anybody has, unless it's, that mermaids are going to see their introduction into a franchise, or pirates or witches or sirens, with the exception of those kind of theories, any theories pretty much can be shut out. I think that fans are the most supportive and the most smart fans in the entire world. I think they know who they love. I think they know what they love. And I think that that needs to be supported. I think that the more we support this kind of thing, the further we're going to go with it. And I think the more storylines are going to be created, because there are endless amounts of storylines that can be presented for this franchise. There are endless amounts of things that you can take the opportunity upon to actually do with this franchise. And that's why I'm so excited to be a part of it. That's why I'm so excited to be here as your voice of Descendants and Zombies, because I don't know what's coming next. I remember last summer being so excited about the premiere of Zombies 4: Dawn of the Vampires, and I did anything but sit down in front of my plasma TV with a notebook and a piece of paper and write down jot notes about how I felt about it. I watched it as a fan, because that's what I was. An hour after Zombies 4: Dawn of the Vampires had premiered, I jumped on this show. I think I had an advanced copy of it. I really don't know how it went. But I remember an hour after seeing the premiere, I jumped on this show and I said nothing but good things about it. And I was one of the first YouTubers and first YouTube channels to give it the benefit of the doubt. While other people chose to criticize it because of stupid concepts like vampires and daywalkers, nobody could understand what they were. I think it was just their way of choosing to criticize a franchise they really didn't know anything about. I think that if you're a fan of Descendants and Zombies, you know what a Daywalker and a Nightwalker is. You know the confliction, of course, arises from the Moonstone and, of course, the Bloodfruit. And now the confliction will rise from Nova and Victor's relationship and how the two groups will oppose a threat to that or see it as a threat. That's pretty obvious. While we may not have a title for Zombies 5, I think we will get a title as it gets closer. Obviously, they have signed contracts, a multi-year deal, to be a part of something special. And I, for one, am incredibly excited to be a part of this future moving forward because there is so much to be said about zombies and Descendants. So if you would love to join me on this conversation, get in on all the action because you're not going to want to miss a single second of it, you're probably going to want to think about hitting my subscribe button and joining in on this conversation because this story is far from over, and neither does this conversation have to really be over. I have a lot of advancements that I'm going to be putting into fruition for this YouTube channel. I will let you know more about that when the time becomes more apparent. But believe you me, guys, this YouTube channel will forever and always be here for you, the fans of Descendants and Zombies. Thank you so much for watching this video on this beautiful Sunday morning. We still have a long way to go. 3 more podcasts at least to come, and I hope you will join me for those. Until then, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe buttons, and of course ring my bell to stay up to date with notifications on everything happening on this YouTube channel. And stay calm and zombie on, guys, because that's the only way to be for the foreseeable future. We will talk more about Descendants and Zombies in the forthcoming hours.